Hey, welcome back to Life Under Deborah's Palm, where today we're going to look at stage 5 dementia, and I'm going to show you two videos, a clip of my mother and my mother-in-law in the same stage, in stage 5, and you will see just how vastly different things can be in the same stage. Stay tuned. So stage 5 lasts about a year and a half, according to the experts. And what you're going to see now is major deficiencies in memory. They aren't really going to be able to recall a lot of things, and they are not going, their short-term memory is just, there is none. For example, yesterday was Mother's Day. I was with my mom, and we took a bunch of selfies, which she was having a blast with, and then I went back and scrolled through the selfies, and my mom's like, oh, I remember when we took that picture like 2 years ago. It was like 5 seconds ago. I mean, that's how quickly their memory just, it goes. There is no short-term memory, really. This is the stage where they will say that they need help dressing and bathing, and they don't, I have found they don't really need help in the sense of, like, my mom can put her clothes on and things like that. They don't do it. So what happens is, this is where they seem to really stop with the hygiene, the bathing, the hair washing, brushing their teeth. All those things go by the wayside, and trying to get them to do it is like World War III. They will argue about everything. They'll say, well, no, I just washed these clothes. I haven't been wearing these clothes for a week. I just put them on this morning. But they've been wearing them for like days on end, you know, just days. And they don't get it. So that's real hard, and that gets real argumentative sometimes, because you don't want them smelling, and you want to get their hair cut, and you want them washed, and it is very difficult. And in assisted living, what they do is, once they kind of get their clothes off them, sometimes they will actually put their clothes in another room so they can't continually wear the same clothes. But that gets real difficult. The experts say this is the part where they forget their address and their phone number. Well, I think that happens when you move them. At this point, they really should not be living by themselves. Stage 5, they either need to be in assisted living or be living with somebody. They really cannot function without another person in the house. And at whatever point they move, if they move out of their house, they're going to forget their address and their phone number. Again, it's out of sight, out of mind. They don't need it if they're not handling their bills, or they're not making phone calls. Nobody's saying, hey, what's your address? What's your phone number? What's your social security number? They don't need it anymore. It's gone. This is the part where they say they have no concept of time or date. And I say they have no concept of season. So time and date and season. So you'll see things like my mother, for example. It was spring last year, and it was beautiful out, and then all of a sudden, for like 3 days, we got really cold weather, and it got a little snowy. And she said, well, winter's coming. The week before, she knew it was spring, but once she saw the snow, she just went, oh, it's now going into winter. She had no concept that we had just come out of winter, no concept that it was just a 3-day cold snap. But this is, and then they don't understand the next season's summer. They just lose that. Another thing that happens in this stage, they don't know where they are. And that is really a weird thing sometimes, but they really don't know where they are. My mother went to the ER a few months ago. It was nothing really big. Somebody got concerned about something and shipped her off, and she was just there for a few hours. But I got to the ER, and the nurse was there, and her and I were standing at the foot of my mom's bed, where she was hooked up to oxygen monitors and all those things, and everything's beeping, and there's wires everywhere. And she said to me, now, honey, I don't want to go to the ER, okay? I just want you to know that I just want to stay here. I don't want to go to the ER. The nurse and I are looking at each other. She's in full scrubs with a stethoscope and everything else, and my mom had no concept, zero, zip, nada, that she was in the ER, that she had come by ambulance. They were asking her what's wrong, and she's like, nothing. And really, there wasn't really anything wrong anyways, but no idea where she was. None. In fact, I had her at the house yesterday, here at my house, where she has not been since probably last June, and it is now May. She goes, this isn't your house. I said, yeah, Mom, it's my house. It's okay, you can come in. She goes, no, it's not. This isn't your house. I can't go in. No concept where they are. At this point, they will generally still know their family members that they see all the time or they're in contact with. So in my mom's case, it's, me, my husband, she asks about my brother, and she talks to her siblings and things, but nieces and nephews that she no longer sees or talks to, she doesn't get that. She has no comprehension really of them or who they are. She'll fake it and go along with a conversation, but she doesn't know who they are anymore. I'm also going to touch on personality changes. Although the experts say it doesn't come till stage 6, I think personality changes can come at any point. I started to see them with my mom in stage 3, which is an earlier stage, but my mom, who was always a calm, cool, collected, laid back, doesn't really yell at people, started to get really nasty. She would get very angry and lash out, and she never was like that. She became argumentative. If she thought she was wrong or somebody was telling her she was wrong, and sometimes she was really wrong, she would just get I'm not wrong. This is what I'm telling you. And when she was wrong, she would back it up with lies. I talked to somebody and they said whatever, and she would get very angry, and that was definitely out of character for her. And now in stage 5, as I said in a prior video, they're trying to deal with her personality issues now with an antidepressant. They say she's very angry, and she's not swinging at people or anything like that, but when I asked what was going on, they told me a couple stories. They said, did you see the woman in the common area? They were all hanging around. She has a tic. They get like that, almost like a Tourette's type of a tic. Some people do and some don't. Everybody's a little different. So there was a point in time where my mother-in-law was in, there was a woman that would walk around going I can't even do it. It was really loud, but it was like that clicking from the roof of your mouth. She was really loud with it. Well, there's a woman there now that kind of goes, Well, I'm sure it gets on everybody's nerves, and so my mom's case manager was telling me that, and I said, to get on her nerves? And she goes, well, it kind of, probably bothers everybody, but my mom turns around and goes, hey, shut up and knock it off. Okay, Mom, calm down. My mom would never have done that. Well, my mom was the kind of person that would have been like, oh my God, look at that poor soul. I can't believe it. That's so horrible. Let's go over and see if, we can pray for her, or we can calm her down, or we can comfort her. That was my mother. Yelling at someone having an issue like that was definitely not my mother. Another thing that apparently she's decided is in the common area, she has a particular chair she likes, and if anyone sits in the chair, she throws them out. And I was talking yesterday to the guy who's the crew leader for the maintenance department, and he's a great guy, and he does an amazing job with the residents there, and he's got a real calming effect to him. And he tried to clean my mom's room because she's been yelling at people, and he said, she threw me out. I can't believe she threw me out. And in my other videos, one of my older videos, if you saw it, she was yelling at the other cleaner. The other guy that was trying to clean her room, just screaming, get out, get out. It's not like her. And when I talked to this gentleman yesterday, he said, your mom thinks we're going to make her move. And she's been saying that right along. She's been there just shy of a year, and she's been saying that for probably 10 months. They're going to make me move. They've sold the place. I have to get out. She gets all stressed out. Where am I going to go? Who's going to take care of me? It's so sad, but you can't convince her that no one's selling anything and she's not going anywhere. And here again, got to be part psychologist. Here's what I think is going on. The day I moved my mother, she made this comment. We were, getting breakfast and tea and stuff, and she said, well, you move around your whole life, and now you finally found a place, but it's not yours anymore. My mother has lived in that house, the house that I moved her out of, for over 40 years. And I said, I'm really sorry, Mom. There's nothing I can do anymore about it. But understanding where my mother's come from, my mother is an immigrant. She was not born in the United States. She did not speak English when she got her here. Her and her siblings and her mother were forced to come here by my grandfather, who was all excited to be an immigrant. He was the only one. No one else wanted to move. My mom and her older sister got here at the worst time. They were 13 and 15 years old. My mother, I have class pictures of my mom and my aunt together. The school district didn't know what to do with non-English speaking students. They are 13 and 15 sitting in a kindergarten classroom. About 2 years later, they bumped them up to, I think, 6th or 7th grade. And my aunt has always said that was very humiliating to them. So they really were forced to move and forced to do things. And my mom's moved several times, mostly around the area. But now I think what I'm really hearing is the voice of a 13-year-old who was forced to leave her, not only just her homeland, and come to a place where she didn't even know the language. That's my guess. So how much of that is coming into play now? See, I really do think these things kind of come to the surface. Just my opinion, but I've seen it a couple of times. That's really what we honestly think goes on with the disease. An expert can argue with me, I guess. I'm just telling you that if you're trying to manage it, what you're hearing, if you know anything about their history, you may really see these things come together. So now I'm going to cut in and I'm going to show you just a couple short clips so you can see my mother-in-law and my mother both at stage 5.
Say,
Don't bother me.
say that, Ma.
Don't bother me. If you don't like it, too bad. Yuck.
On YouTube channel.
Boy, look at that stuff coming by. Holy hell.
Who is it?
Small.
Bum, 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 boom. Monopoly.
So it's
Actually, what I said is really true.
what's really true.
What she did.
Oh,
That's what I heard there a couple of times.
right.
And I said the cars would go in and out because she used to make the kids dig this big circle there and then have to dig, and that's why there was so much that stuff there before.
So
Then Grandma was mean.
grandma, my grandma, or your grandma
No,
Victoria, or Grandma Rosie?
Those people there on that street there when I look out of the window.
Oh, the people out the window are mean.
Yeah.
Oh, that's different. Those two videos were vastly different. Vastly different. And my mother-in-law, as you can see, she was very articulate. She could still complete sentences and they made sense. Now, she didn't always know what we were talking about in that stage, but she was always able to make her thoughts come out her mouth. And we all knew what she was talking about. Obviously, her memory was terrible. She sometimes struggled for words. She would say that stuff going by the window, it was snow. Things like that. But you could understand what she was trying to tell you. She was still very articulate. Exact same stage. You see my mother? She talks about things. We have no idea what she's talking about. We don't know who she's talking about. We don't know what's going on. We just don't. We all just go, okay. She just talks about people. She would say, you know, the old lady out the window, or do you know this person and that person? And she's talking. We have no idea what she's talking about. She doesn't make any sense at all. None. Vastly different in the same stage. My mother-in-law, as you see, stage 5, they said 1.5 years. Stage 6, they say 2.5 years. Stage 7, the end stage, is anywhere from 1.5 years to 2.5 years, according to the experts. Add that all up, and my mother-in-law, from the filming of that to death, would have had 5.5 to 6.5 years, according to the experts. 26 months to the day that that video was filmed, she died of Alzheimer's. See, they don't always know. It's all a guessing game. It really is. They have some general things that they can tell you, but they're not always right on the money, and it's going to vary so much from person to person. My mom is in stage 5, 1.5 years. I don't know. We saw her. We brought her out for dinner at Easter, and then I brought her to my house yesterday, which was Mother's Day. And in those like 4 weeks or however long it's been, her decline is staggering. My husband and I were absolutely stunned at how fast she has gone downhill. And to the point where I said to him, I won't bring her out again. Sadly. Maybe I would take her for a little ice cream around the block or something down the street. I'm not bringing her out anymore. It was very difficult for her. She can't comprehend the stairs. Her eyes are, the vision portion of her brain is, I guess, probably starting to deteriorate. She's having an incredibly hard time judging stairs, and there's about 3 steps into my house. She couldn't get them. She's very off balance. She couldn't get herself out of the car, which is called the inability to transfer. Really, in just from Easter to Mother's Day, I don't even remember when Easter was, but April, March this year, April. Anyways, 4 or 5 weeks. Incredible decline. Just incredible decline. So that's how it is. It's different for everybody. Next time, we're going to look at the last 2 stages, 6 and 7. Have a great day.